Imagine a place so horrifying, its very existence was denied for decades. A facility where over 200,000 people met gruesome ends, not in battle, but on operating tables. This isn't a scene from a horror movie, it's the true story of Unit 731. Welcome to Unit 731, a covert biological and chemical warfare research unit of the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. Behind its sterile doors lay unspeakable horrors. Atrocities so monstrous, they rival even the darkest chapters of Nazi Germany. This is the story of how science was twisted into torture, how people became test subjects, and how one of the worst war crimes of the 20th century was buried in silence. Unit 731 began in the early 1930s under the leadership of General Shiro Ishii, a brilliant but ruthless microbiologist obsessed with biological warfare. As Japan expanded its empire into China, Ishii saw an opportunity to create a top-secret research facility far from prying eyes. In 1936, under the guise of water purification and disease prevention, Unit 731 was established in Pingfang, a remote area in occupied Manchuria, present-day northeastern China. The compound sprawled over 6 square kilometers, complete with laboratories, prison cells, crematoriums, and even an Olympic-sized swimming pool for the staff. But behind these walls lived a nightmare that would haunt humanity forever. The victims of Unit 731 were primarily Chinese civilians and prisoners of war, including women, children, and infants. They were labeled as logs or marutas by the researchers, dehumanized before the horror began. These innocent lives were subjected to unspeakable experiments. Freezing experiments to study frostbite, limbs shattered like glass when struck. Biological warfare testing, plague-infected fleas released into villages, killing thousands. Live dissections without anesthesia, organs removed while victims were still conscious. Injections of deadly pathogens like cholera, syphilis, typhoid, and anthrax. High-pressure chamber tests that crushed internal organs. Pregnant women used for fetal experiments, often resulting in live births followed by dissection. And the worst part, many of these experiments were conducted repeatedly just to collect data. The results? Death, suffering, and mountains of classified scientific reports, written in blood. Given the brutal nature of Unit 731's operations, few survived. Most were killed after their usefulness ended, their bodies incinerated in the camp's crematoriums. But a handful did survive, some due to escape, others because they were kept alive longer for ongoing experiments. One such survivor was Li Lianbai, who endured freezing experiments and later testified about his ordeal. Another was Sun Jiwan, who watched his brother die during a bacterial injection test. These brave souls have spent decades seeking justice, recognition, and closure. Yet many survivors remain silent for years, haunted by memories too painful to speak aloud. As World War II neared its end in 1945, the Japanese Army knew the secrets of Unit 731 could not fall into enemy hands. In a final act of cruelty, remaining prisoners were executed, labs destroyed, and evidence burned. General Ishii ordered the release of diseased animals and insects into surrounding areas, causing outbreaks that killed thousands more. When U.S. forces captured surviving members of Unit 731, a dark deal was made. In exchange for immunity, the scientists handed over all their research data. Not one member of Unit 731 was ever prosecuted for war crimes. Shiro Ishii died peacefully in 1959, never facing trial for his crimes. The data collected at Unit 731 didn't vanish. It was studied and absorbed by Allied powers, especially the United States. Much of this information was deemed valuable for Cold War-era biological warfare programs. Some findings were quietly incorporated into scientific literature, published under different names. Today, parts of the data remain classified, locked away in government vaults. Ethical questions linger. Can knowledge gained through torture be used ethically? Should it be destroyed or preserved as a warning? Unit 731 stands as a chilling reminder of what happens when power, ambition, and ideology override humanity. It was not just a war crime, it was a betrayal of everything we hold sacred. It showed us the depths of evil that can emerge when minds are allowed to wander unchecked, when curiosity becomes cruelty. Though time has passed, the echoes of Unit 731 still haunt our world. Its victims deserve remembrance, its truth deserves exposure, and its lessons must never be forgotten, because if we do, history may repeat itself.